and I did my presentation over World War II. World War II was one of the biggest wars in our history, and it started December 7th, 1941. On this day, Japan declared war on the U.S. by bombing our naval base in Oahu. Nearly 2,000 men were killed in this bombing, and the U.S. was in shock when this happened. Many of the men killed in this bombing were on battleships, and some were in fighter planes. 8 of our battleships were sunk in this bombing, and many of our planes were taken down. When the President FDR heard about this bombing, he was in shock, and he gave a public speech and called this day a day that will live in infamy. Congress was also in shock and did not know what to do, if we should declare war on Japan or not. 3 days after the bombing, Congress finally decided to declare war on Japan. On August 6th, the U.S. decided to declare war on Japan by sending 2 bombs. One was Little Boy on Hiroshima, and this bomb did not scare Japan into surrendering, so they sent Big Man, which was the second bomb, to, excuse my pronunciation, Nagasaki, I believe. And this bomb scared Japan, but still they did not surrender. Finally, one of our allies, the Soviet Union, decided to join World War II and help the U.S. fight Japan and its allies. And on August 15th, 1945, the war was over. Japan had finally surrendered after being scared by the U.S. and our ally, the Soviet Union. And we only ended up with 1 captive, and they ended up having 65 men killed in the bombing in the U.S. This war was one of our biggest wars, and Michael Bay decided to produce a movie, or direct a movie, called Pearl Harbor. This movie shows the lives of 3 people in the war, 2 of which who were fighter pilots, and 1 was a nurse in the war. The 2 fighter pilots, it showed how they got into being fighter pilots and what happened on the day that Pearl Harbor was bombed. The nurse showed how she had to take care of the men who were injured in the war. Now that I've told you all about World War II and what went on, I'm going to show you what the men in World War II had during the time. Well, the airmen. This was my grandfather's chest that they stored all of their stuff in, their clothes, their gloves, their lighters, everything. And this is what it looks like on the inside. These were his gloves that the airmen wore during the time. And film cases that they had. They all had plenty of lighters to go around. And they also received medals. For instance, this was his air medal. And his Distinguishing Flying Cross. And then sometimes, if they were not able to receive an award, they would send them to them in these packages. And on the inside would be a little card, and then there would be their medal. For instance, this was his Purple Heart. hope you enjoyed the presentation.